Stay calm.
Stay compassionate.
Stay hopeful.
Stay helpful.
Stay informed.
Stay grateful.
Stay active.
Stay well.
Stay home.
Stay with News 7 KWWL. We've got you covered.
The candidates have been campaigning hard all over our state, garnering support. Several rallies and town halls taking place today as part of the final push.
Tonight we have Team 7 coverage with reporters really scattered all across the state just for you tonight, including crews in Des Moines and all across eastern Iowa. We're going to get to those folks in just a moment.
Yeah, you talked to Tom Steyer earlier this afternoon. I spoke to the former Vice President Joe Biden this morning. In fact, the Vice President up before sunrise for that one-on-one interview, and he told me that he feels good going into tonight's Iowa caucus, but stopped short of predicting the outcome of the Iowa caucus tonight. Since the day he announced his candidacy, Joe Biden has said he is focused on restoring the soul of this country and also rebuilding the middle class. He insists this all comes down to someone who wants to lead the way. One thing Biden knows for sure, that person is not President Donald Trump.
You see how he has divided the country, how he has alienated us from our friends around the world, how he's embraced dictators. I just think it's extremely, extremely destabilizing.
You know, Abby, it really has grown incredibly large. Thousands of journalists have descended upon Des Moines this weekend, and of course there are thousands of people across the state and thousands of precincts locations all joining in on this year's caucus. You can think of the caucuses as the initial step for a job interview.
Now, caucus results for each county in our viewing area will be made available on our website, KWWL.com.
Tonight here live at 6 o'clock, we're going to head to Des Moines, where KWWL reporter Colin Dorsey and Matt Breen of our sister station KTIV are standing by with more on the Super Bowl of politics and a big development over the weekend because the Register decided to pull its poll. So the eyes of the world still on our state tonight, but the caucus reporting disaster could certainly cost Iowa its long status as first in the nation in the next presidential cycle.
The Iowa Democratic Party, of course, taking full blame for the Caucus Night fiasco, as we have mentioned, but many questions still loom.
With that in mind, let's go live right now to KWWL reporter Travis Breeze. He is still live tonight for us at the Media Center in downtown Des Moines. Let's talk about the mood here tonight because it has to be a very interesting one 24 hours later, Travis.
Ron and Abby, there's probably only about 5 reporters here left at the Media Filing Center right now, but
from KWWL, this is a Storm Track 7 weather special, Surviving the Storm.
Hello and welcome to our Storm Track 7 severe weather special, Surviving the Storm. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Schnackenberg.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Libby.
And I'm meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Over the next half hour, we're going to talk about everything you need to know in order to stay safe during severe weather season. We had an early start to severe weather season this year. 6 tornadoes in eastern Iowa on March 28th.
At this hour, hundreds of people are marching through downtown Iowa City tonight. They are protesting police brutality. The third night in a row there has been a march through the community. With that in mind, let's go live right now to KWWL Iowa City area reporter Travis Breeze. He is live in downtown Iowa City tonight to tell us more about the late developments there.
Ron, these demonstrators have been going through downtown, chanting the names of African Americans who have been killed by police throughout the United States, trying to make people here aware of their struggle.
Gone back about 100 yards from where the police line is. No one's really retreating. Well, they are, but it doesn't appear they're leaving. People are in pain right now. Everyone's coughing. Oh, people are bent over, coughing. My eyes are killing me right now.
Rough winds ripped through the area around 12:30 today, lasting nearly an hour.
KWW reporter Ashley Neighbor was hunkered down in our KWW office in Cedar Rapids, but right now she's live with a look at some of the Linn County damage. Ashley.
Abby and Ron, I'm live in downtown Cedar Rapids. I'm here on 1st Street and 3rd Avenue, and behind me, I'll step out of the way a little bit, is this old vacant commercial building with a partial wall collapse.
All right. For everyone at home, we want you to stop what you're doing and take a look at this. You are seeing infrared camera shots from our Storm Chaser vehicle right now. You can see these images as we drive around the west side of Cedar Rapids right off of 380. And here is why there is a curfew. Look at that. Those trees lying in the road. Now you can't see them until you are right on top of them at some times. Hazards in the roadway as workers continue to try and clear the debris all throughout the day. So please stay inside. Again, that curfew in Cedar Rapids taking place from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. Now we'll turn to our full forecast with Storm Track 7 Chief Meteorologist Mark Schnackenberg.
Still talking about all those outages still in place. I want to show you a time lapse here of the outage as it moved on through the region. So this is a time lapse. So we're in the middle of the time lapse here, and the darker the red colors, the more outages there are. There you can see the image there from the satellites, the discoloration that's circled in red there, showing how widespread the crop damage is. So you see the little discoloration in there. I know it may be very subtle, but it is enough to notice that right in here, and here's Des Moines, here's Waterloo, and right in here, sort of like a little lighter color green and a little lighter color green, that is all the corn that is knocked down. So you can see how widespread this is.
But the biggest disappointment to some folks is the mayor's response to the derecho. It's been 8 days since the storm hit Iowa, and with no electricity to power lines wrapped around tree debris, the derecho has left the city of Hiawatha devastated. But instead of seeing urgent response, some locals say it's been quite the opposite. And 25-year resident Doug Dix says they are looking for leadership.
Mayor tells us he doesn't even know we have a problem. So that told us that our own city didn't even care about us.
Right now with me to talk about the circumstances of his city is Mayor Bill Bennett himself. He's been with us all morning long to talk about his perspective of the aftermath. So thank you for being here all morning long. I know it's been a tough situation for you guys as a city, but I just want to ask you, with the damages that are here, what is your plan going forward?
Meanwhile, we are learning State Farm has had more than 23,000 claims, both home and auto, filed in the state since August 10th. Of course, that's the day the derecho hit. Now, you're taking a look at just some of that damage from our KWWL drone. Really, this is when we can see the magnitude of what has been experienced. Now, just a reminder, the numbers we're talking about here are for just State Farm customers. Now, this is over the town of Keystone, as you can see right there. And again, this is a live look. Look at some of those bins. And it's certainly a situation where they need help. And we've been talking about this a lot. You can help. There are many ways listed on our website, KWWL.com. And while the storm is over, the struggles are not. And tonight, dozens of people in Cedar Rapids are spending the night outside in tents. Storm Track 7's Kristen Crawley joins us live right now from the Cedar Terrace Apartments with much more on this story. Kristen.
Abby, yes, as you mentioned, some of these families have been out here for 6 days, ever since this storm hit, waiting for help that some worry now may never come.
I need somebody. I need help.
When Monday's storm hit Cedar Terrace Apartments, it took the complex's roof with it, leaving dozens of families homeless.
Nobody has place to go. They don't have the money either. We don't have no money. We live in paycheck to paycheck.
And even though there are shelters set up in the city, for some of these families, that's not an option if they want to stay together.
Because my brother, he has 4 kids, us, 6. My sister up there, 3.
So you couldn't go to a shelter altogether?
We couldn't.
So for days, young children, their parents and grandparents have camped out all night and all day.
It's really hot. That's why we're in the shade right now.
And they say city leaders are nowhere to be found.
I didn't see any official elected to come here to see if we live here.
With the city about the conditions at Cedar Terrace, no one was available to go on camera, but they did tell us there are multiple shelters in place, including the Veterans Building for people who are displaced. They also said the Red Cross will shuttle people to the Veterans Center. We did see the Red Cross here earlier today, but that was for roughly half an hour to an hour handing out supplies. We did not see them move any residents, and we are still continuing to wait and hear more details about what the future is for these residents. The property manager also spoke with us, says she is working on getting them their security deposit back. Reporting live from Cedar Rapids, News 7 KWWL, I'm Kristen Crowley. Abby, back to you.
KWWL's Diego Hernandez is now live in Marion. And Diego, go ahead and describe what you are seeing at this hour.
Ron and Abby, this morning we discovered that a tree had fallen into a church. This is Marion Christian Church on 10th and McGowan Boulevard in Marion. But if you just take a look behind me, the tree was only feet away from the building before it fell.
Ron Steele joins us tonight live from Cedar Rapids in the heart of the damage from last Monday's storm. Ron, tell us what's the scene there this evening.
Yeah, Ivy, I'll tell you, Colin's going to have to wait another day because some things just come ahead of what we're doing here at the station, and one of those is storm coverage. I'm right now, as you can see behind me, I'm at Cedar Terrace, the big apartment complex out in the southwest part of the town. In fact, we're just off of 12th Avenue Southwest. Let me just step back real quickly. The residents here, as you mentioned, some have been sleeping in tents. They've had no electricity, a lot of damage out here. The roofs are off on many of these big buildings out here at Cedar Terrace.
The mother of all storms may have brought us to our knees, but together we stand. Welcome to Eastern Iowa United. Tonight, all 3 Eastern Iowa TV stations come together for a rare live broadcast event. KCRG's Nicole Agee, KGAN's Mitch Fick, and KWWL's Ron Steele are live from the Ladd Library in Cedar Rapids to highlight the work being done by the United Way to help recover and rebuild, and how you can make a difference right now. This is Eastern Iowa United.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for this unprecedented partnership among broadcasters here in Eastern Iowa.
That's right, Nicole. In fact, you know, in times of trouble, in times where we're all having to come together, that's exactly what we do. We focus on what's really important, and right now...
But one Eastern Iowa youngster found a unique way to make the best of a bad situation. KWWL's Mark Woodley has the story.
Oh, good drive. 12-year-old Tommy Romberg rode out the storm in his parents' basement last week.
I just remember the crazy winds. The sky was so black, trees just falling down everywhere. Branches down, trees down. You couldn't even see across, like, the road. It was just covered in branches.
When the family emerged, what they found was a mess.
Me, my dad, and my brothers, and just everyone worked to clean everything up.
In all the downed branches and trees, Tommy was looking for something specific. And when he found it, he knew exactly what he was going to do with it. And that's when the real work began.
So I just grabbed the best piece of wood I could find, and I just started whittling.
Tommy put in more than 10 hours of work over 3 days.
It was really hard. I got blisters.
And just like Roy Hobbs' Wonder Boy emerged from a lightning-fallen tree in the natural, Tommy Romberg fashioned the great derecho out of debris left by the storm.
He gets something in his mind, and he just decides to do it.
And in the end, all that work wasn't even for himself.
From the beginning, I knew that I just wanted to make something special for my friend's birthday.
So the great derecho passed hands to Walker Viesman, Tommy's friend and teammate on their state champion youth baseball team.
I thought that was super nice of him to take all that time to make me a bat for my birthday.
The gift, now a memento of an unforgettable week and a great friendship.
President Trump is due to land in Des Moines any moment now for a campaign rally tonight.
Now, less than 3 weeks until Election Day, November 3rd, the president is campaigning hard in his re-election bid. With that in mind, let's go live right now to KWWL reporter Colin Dorsey. He's at the Des Moines International Airport for us tonight, where President Trump hopes to rally his base and send them onto the polls. Colin.
Abby, Ron, for President Trump's supporters, it's been a long day of waiting. We got here at about 9:30 this morning, and people were already lined up outside the Des Moines International Airport for their chance to see President Trump speak. Now, he was supposed to take the stage at 6, and you can see he's not here yet, but we did get word just moments ago that the president would be here shortly. Now, President Trump has been off the campaign trail since his...
The president's rally in Dubuque today was one of several stops that he's making on this Sunday. KWWL's Daniel Perot was there and tells us how the president made his final pitch to Iowa voters.
Despite cold temperatures and a wicked wind, thousands of the president's supporters were packed shoulder to shoulder here on the tarmac at the Dubuque region.
Well, thank you very much. I might have missed it, but I don't think you answered my question. What's the break-even price for soybeans in Iowa? You grew up on a farm. You should know this.
I think you had asked about corn, and it depends on.
I asked her corn.
It depends on what the inputs are, but probably about $5.50.
Well, you're a couple dollars off, I think, here, because it's 10:05. So, well, we'll move on to something else then.
And I don't think Ms. Greenfield answered either.
She actually did with the price of corn. We'd asked for the price of soybeans from you, Senator. You want to take another crack at it?
No, thank you.
And we do have Team 7 coverage throughout the night. Our team across the state will be bringing reports on the different local and district races, as well as reports from Des Moines, where the U.S. Senate candidates are gathering.
Campaign Colin, let's talk about what she's saying ahead of the polls closing later tonight.
Abby, Ron, the big question about what will today's vote say is a big question left to be answered. We know that some 63% of Democrats voted early.
Well, also standing by live for us in Des Moines right now is Team 7's Taylor Vessel. He today is following Senator Joni Ernst's campaign. Taylor, fill us in. What's the latest?
Well, Ron and Abby, I want to kind of give you a look at what's going on here. It's very different than what Colin is seeing. Take a look at this crowd. While it may not be the largest crowd, obviously the crowd cheering right now as President Trump secures another state. Fox News is calling that in the background. The crowd very riled up and enthusiastic about any Republican victory tonight.
House today. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us here tonight live for a KWWL special report, Coronavirus Facts, Not Fears. I'm Ron Steele.
And I'm Abby Turpin. Several big announcements from the Trump administration concerning the coronavirus today. Over the next half hour, we will be talking with local health professionals, asking the big questions that are important to you.
Some of the disturbing details are coming out in this lawsuit that Tyson managers allegedly bet on how many Tyson workers would contract COVID-19.
Colin, Abby, Tyson made that announcement today, saying those managers aren't reflective of the company's core values. The company citing privacy reasons for why their names weren't released. Tyson says former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder will continue to work with them to determine how to improve things at the Waterloo plant. Now, Holder led that independent investigation that you mentioned into those allegations that plant leaders bet money on how many employees would contract COVID-19.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock this Tuesday morning. I'm Daniel Wynn.
And I'm Olivia Schmidt. Of course, things looking a little different this morning as we continue our social distancing at KWWL. So today I will be at the Elks Lodge in Waterloo. Let's get a look at your morning commute. Here's a live look.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Steele reporting live tonight from the KWWL building.
And I'm Abby Turpin. I'm joining in from a remote location this evening as we do our part to continue to social distance in this age of COVID-19.
Now, KWWL Sports.
Of course, the state basketball tournament rolling on today at Wells Fargo as Marty McCowan's Wapsie Valley Warriors looking to continue their improbable run toward the Class 1A final. And in Class 4A, two-time defending state champions, the Tigers of Cedar Falls, began their journey. Mark Woodley has the highlights from Wells Fargo.
Well, the Cedar Falls Tigers just continue to amaze. No age. The sports world has gone on nearly a complete hiatus, of course, due to public health measures enacted to battle the coronavirus pandemic. One of the first dominoes to fall, the remainder of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament. Now, Rick Coleman had already made his way to Indianapolis and has more on what was a surreal day.
Thank you. I'm right outside of Bankers Life Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis. 8 teams are supposed to play 4 games today in the Big Ten men's basketball.
Live from News 7 KWWL, this is Friday Night Heroes, presented by Rolling Ford in Shell Rock.
Believe it or not, we made it. Welcome to week 1 of the 2020 high school football season right here on Friday Night Heroes. For many schools, you know, there's no better or bitter rivalry in Iowa high school football than Wapsie Valley and Denver. Both teams narrowly missed the playoffs in 2019. Wapsie won last year's matchup 13-6. Mark Woodley joins us now live from Denver with this game of the week.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Rick, our first matchup of 2020 this
holiday season, stay safe.
Stay connected.
Stay kind.
Stay compassionate.
Stay considerate.
Stay generous.
Stay grateful.
Stay positive. Stay peaceful. Stay hopeful.
Stay helpful.
Stay happy.
Stay cheerful.
Stay caring.
Stay joyful. Stay strong.
Stay loving.
Stay with News 7 KWWL. We've got you covered.